I've been sent a range of brand new addressable RGB fans. First I'm going to discuss the fans, then I'm going to do a sponsored PC build using the fans. But the big question to start, can you guess who makes these fans? That's right, be quiet. These fans are part of the brand new range called Light Wings. The press release tells us Light Wings fans are equipped with a PWM connector and have one LED ring at the fan's inlet and another LED ring at the outlet. They are available in 120mm and 140mm sizes. Lightwing triple packs additionally contain an ARGB hub to enable the synchronization of up to 6 ARGB components in total. The fans can also be connected to motherboards with 5V ARGB headers and controlled by motherboard software. Lightwing's fans allow daisy chaining of its signal cables for a cleaner case interior. Lightwing's fans are available in two different versions. The PWM model, equipped with 7 fan blades and a rotational speed of up to 1700 RPM for the 120mm or 1500 RPM for the 140mm, is ideally suited as a case fan thanks to its low operating noise level. The PWM high-speed model with 9 fan blades and up to 2500 RPM for the 120mm or 2200 RPM for the 140mm is optimized for use on radiators or heat sinks. All Lightwing fans have a PWM connector that can intelligently control the rotation speed directly via the motherboard. There are some points worth unpacking from that preamble before I get on and do the PC build. The first is all of these Lightwings fans are PWM. Be Quiet has 3 families of fans at present: Silent Wings 3, Shadow Wings 2 and Pure Wings 2, and they each have various members of the families that are PWM and non-PWM. One aspect of the packaging that doesn't do much for me is that this 120mm is the high speed and this is just a 120mm PWM. You have to deduce it's the non-high speed. That's not the end of the world, except that high speed in this context means airflow, whereas non-high speed, or regular I suppose, means that it's for installing on a radiator or up against some form of cooler. Generally speaking, we call that air pressure. So the idea that high speed has 1 count of fan blades and low speed, regular, has a different number of fan blades, that's a tad peculiar. When you take a look at Silent Wings 3, for example, all members of the family have 7 blades, whereas Shadow Wings 2, the 120mm have 7 blades, the 140mm have 9 blades. Pure Wings 2, it's chaotic. You've got 7 blades on the 80mm and 92mm versions and 9 blades on the 120mm and 140mm. Pretty much it seems with these existing families of fans that Be Quiet's just making it up as they go along. These Light Wings are not one of the existing families of fans that have simply had RGB added, more accurately ARGB, addressable RGB. They are, to my eyes, actually new fans, which is really good news. The other thing is this business about daisy chaining together the RGB connectors. So the 3-pack of fans is supplied with an RGB hub, can support 6 fans. You connect that to the motherboard and then you can connect 6 fans directly to the hub. So the hub does make sense if you're installing a lot of fans, or of course you've got some cables to manage. And I'm about to discover all of that. So let's clear the decks and get the hardware out. For this sponsored build, Be Quiet sent me a huge range of products, starting with the PureBase 500DX case that I've used on a few occasions now. You will recall this has 3 Pure Wings fans, obviously non-RGB, so we have the answer there, don't we? Also, the Silent Loop 2 AIO cooler, which has some Silent Wings fans. They're decent fans, but nonetheless non-RGB, so we can swap out a couple of those. And oh, entirely by chance I put the high-speed fans on the cooler there. That's bad. I want to put the regular fans on the Silent Loop. I'm going to trip over that. Power supply, Dark Power 12, a mighty 1000 watts of titanium power. And then we have some Be Quiet custom cables. a full PC's worth, and then I've got to find a home for these two fans as well, so I've got the whole 9 yards of RGB. To power the Be Quiet hardware, I have this Micro ATX MSI Mag B550M motherboard. That is a Ryzen 9 5950X Wi-Fi dongle because it's a non-Wi-Fi motherboard, and the graphics will be my Sapphire RX 6800 XT, a full-on PC that requires decent cooling. But let's face it, I'm spoiled for choice here, aren't I? The first step is to prep the 500DX case. Off with the glass, top cover, back panel, and the accessories. Don't need the drive cage, do need a screwdriver. The SSD mounting bracket will accommodate the RGB hub. That's handy. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, that takes a pull. And yes, if I just paid money for this product, I'd be concerned I'd broken it as well, but I haven't. One. Two. And three. So there we have it. Case stripped down. And we can install some RGB fans. 3 140mm Light Wings installed, 2 at the front, 1 at the rear. I'm going to put the liquid cooler in the roof, and at the moment it looks like 5 fans is going to be my limit. Okay then. Time for the power supply. The Dark Power 12 1000 watt is a monumentally expensive power supply, north of £250 here in the UK. And I've added to the pain by plumping for these accessory cables. That's a stock EPS cable, perfectly respectable, heat shrink, sleeved. And this is the accessory cable, clearly much more flexible, much easier to route. So let's get busy plugging cables. Fully modular power supply, of course, as it's super duper high end and everything is labelled. Ah, good, I did remember to get SATA. I need SATA power for the RGB hub and also for the case RGB. I am intrigued by this, which is a back bracket accessory with a little switch, and it's labelled overclocking. And I've had a glance in the manual, I can't see what that's about. I'm assuming it's a give me more power than the rated 1000. Connects just there where it says OCK. Kind of overclock, isn't it? And graphics. There we go. Packaging to clear out the way, and then power supply in the case. We have a solid power supply cover, so no matter which way I install the power supply, you won't be able to see either side of it from the main side. Which I think we can agree is something of a shame. We've got glass, but we ain't going to see the Dark Power 12 logo, for which we've paid, notionally, a huge amount of money. So we're going to look around the back. We have a plain steel panel on the back. Once it's in place, we're not going to see anything at all. But in the first instance, if we put the power supply in with the fan breathing in through the filtered bottom, at least we can see something. If I flip it over so the fan is breathing through the perforated top to the power supply shroud, this logo is upside down, and that's just unacceptable. So let's put it in this way. And lock it down. Gather the cables, spin it round. Next up, we have our motherboard assembly, complete with that 16-core Ryzen 9 processor. First step of installing the motherboard is to look at the Silent Loop 2 cooler. I don't need the stock fans because I'm going to be using the Light Wings fans. But what I want to do is to install the mounting system, AMD. All this bracketry, don't need Intel, just need AMD. So much easier to do this on the bench rather than attempting to do it once the board is in the case. Remove the stock plastic clips, off with the stock brackets, in with the spacers, line up the screws. And check the spacing looks correct. Yes, it does. Okay, that's ready to go in the case. Motherboard in. And screw it down. I've just done some addition and worked out the accessory cable for the power supply. Add £50 to the cost, so it's a £300 power supply. But it's nice and easy to route the cables. Okay, so the Silent Loop 2 cooler is going to go in the roof of the case, like so, which means that the two Light Wings fans will go on here, thus. So let's screw those down, get the cooler in the roof. Need a screwdriver. There it is. Okay, cables through. I'm using the tube of Tim, I say tube, sample of Tim supplied with the Be Quiet cooler. That just doesn't feel like enough for a Ryzen 9. Still, must be correct, mustn't it? And then we take the pump assembly, peel, coffer it up. And secure it in place. Done. And there we have it. A few cables to connect, but we're on the home straight. And now we're ready to install the graphics card. Here we go. The graphics card. The Be Quiet PC. There we go. Power supply is connected to the graphics card and we're ready to start the PC and see how the RGB behaves. Much rainbow lighting. I'm going to put the panels on and play with the RGB a bit, but we're just about done here. First the front filter, then the top filter, now the front panel, and we finish off with the glass. If you were paying close attention in that last sequence, you'll have seen the RGB in the front panel wasn't actually turned on, and that's because the front panel hadn't quite snapped into place, but now it's going correctly, and I've changed from rainbow marquee to a red pattern that works well with the graphics card lighting. So we're done! Be Quiet has gone RGB and their Light Wings fans are go.